Welcome to ISKmaking for Free Folk, Season 1, Episode 2. In this episode, I will talk about the account setup, the monitor setup, the character setup, and the skills you need for a faction warfare mission running setup like mine. As I mentioned in the previous episodes, I have been using 4 accounts and 6 characters in total. So 2 of these characters have Proteus skills and they are being used as mission runners. And 4 of these accounts are being used as mission pullers, so they're in leopards. And I use account 3 and account 4 in griffins, so they hold the mission gates and they serve as an early warning system for producers in case someone comes inside the mission and tries to kill you. As you see, your actual mission runners do not need to be in faction warfare themselves. So suppose these characters are your mains, and these mains require much more skill, right? But you can be in any corporation with them. So you don't need to leave your own corporation to run missions with your main. That is, as long as you have these 4 puller alls among your accounts, and they need to be in their separate corporation inside faction warfare. So you create a corporation for these accounts, these characters inside the leopards, and then you enlist as corporation to faction warfare. So I have this 3 monitor setup, and on the left hand side I use 1 Proteus, and on the right hand side I use 1 Proteus, and in the middle I use these 2 accounts that are inside the griffins. You can see the middle is divided into 2 accounts. As you can see, you can fit 2 accounts and 2 clients in the same monitor and go back and forth like this easily. There is going to be a little overlap, but it's not a huge deal. So as I told you before, I stage for the 4 leopards in this system that is hack, and I stage the one Proteus in ISKA and the other one in Ward. And for other factions, for example, if I was in Amar, I would do the reverse and stage one of them in Azara, the other one in Kurnianen, and I would find a good high sec so that I can send LP items into Jita via using logistics corporations like Red Frog. So I think Mihara is a good system for that. But I think you get the logic, right? So Proteus is here because they quickly run missions and go back to base, and shuttles are here because they get all those missions and come back to the system, and then once they return missions, they're going to buy LP stuff and send them to Jita. So they need to be in high sec and not low sec. And for the skills that you need, for the mission pullers, you need Security Connections 5, which maximizes the LP gain from the missions that you run. And if you have level 4, for example, that's a 5% loss. So on the long run, it makes a lot of difference. And if you are going to run lots of missions, for example, next 10 days or something, maybe it even makes sense to get skill injectors for these Security Connections 5 skills. And for these 2 characters, we're going to use 2 griffins, but you can use any Tech 1 frigate really, as long as it has an improved cloaking device and 3 hyper specials. You are fine with any frigate. I chose griffins because in case I get tackled in Proteuses somehow, I have a chance by aligning out and jamming the attacker. So that's why I went with jammers, but you could go in any ship really. So for this particular griffin, the skills we need are here. We need afterburner and CPU management and electronic warfare, and particularly we need a Tech 2. We need Tech 2 multispectral. skills, but really you can do with Tech 1 as well. This is just, you see, these are all just the basic skills. So it shouldn't be so hard to grow them in like just a couple of days. And finally, we have these two Proteuses here. For these Proteus accounts, the most important thing will be drone skills. Especially, you need to maximize your drone range. And tank is not that important. As you see, these ships have like close to zero tank. And it's good to have like level 5 subsystem skills, of course, especially offensive subsystem skills. And my Proteus is pretty blingy, but you don't need to blink it this much. But two important skills people generally forget to or neglect to grow here are the drone skills that give drone range, basically, which are drone avionics 5 and at least advanced drone avionics 4. And also we need maximum targeting range, so any skill that gives targeting range is going to be level 5. And finally, there is the issue of getting your mission pullers to above 0.6 standing with the faction. So first of all, social skills help with this effective standing. And also you need to run level 1 and level 2 and level 3 missions in order to get your pullers to the maximum level. Usually the logic is the same, so you have the leopards, you grab level 1 missions to start with, and then I use this time another drone ship, which is a worm. This worm I have here has a good range. It has about 90%, 90 kilometers targeting range, and it has 81 drone range. So the system is the same here. So you orbit NPCs from a long range. Therefore, you don't get too much damage. You don't even need too much tank, and you blitz missions quickly. If you're a beginner with 0 standings with 4 leopards, the best way of getting them to 0.6 is taking missions with all 4 of them, and then once you have done the missions with your worms, you focus on getting only one of them to above 0.6 first. And in order to do that, you need to turn missions in with this particular leopard only without anybody else in the fleet, and then you need to turn this leopard's missions together with the first one in fleet and share the standings with the first guy, and then you need to do the same with the third and the first guy, and do the same with the fourth and the first guy. Usually if you do 1 or 2 runs, you will get this first guy above 0.6. And then you can begin taking level 4 missions with the first guy. You take 15 missions, come back, do 15 missions, and you earn some ISK meanwhile. And then this time you share rewards with the other one. And once you get this one above 0.6, then this time you share rewards with both of these and the other 2. Therefore, and thus you get all of them above 0.6 one by one. And this is pretty much the fastest way to reach above 0.6. And also you can ask someone in the faction warfare. Usually people sell this kind of standing service if you pay for their LP. But be careful about not getting scammed. I think this is it for account setup and monitors and characters and skills. In the next video, I will talk about the ships themselves, and click to the card if you want to switch to the next video. Thanks for watching.